There is a pause on the phone. Karen knows that number by heart. She has been tracking it on a yellow post-it on her refrigerator since 2016. The number has not changed in 9 years. Picture that for a moment. 9 years, the same number. As if Eleanor stopped working at 70 and stepped out of time. Now picture Karen pulling out a folder, a real folder, red, the kind with the metal prongs. She pulls out a piece of paper she downloaded last Tuesday from SSA.gov. 4 pages, big block letters at the top. You can now ask us to recompute your Social Security benefits based on additional earnings that may increase your payment. Karen's hand is shaking a little because she just realized something that means her mother has been underpaid for not months, not years, an entire decade, and nobody told her. And that, my friends, is the quiet part of the system nobody wants you to read out loud. Listen to me carefully. There is a form inside the Social Security Administration that most seniors never see, never hear about, and almost never file. It is a recomputation form. It exists for one reason: to ask the government to recalculate your benefit using earnings you might have earned but that were never posted to your record. When Social Security decides what to pay you for life, they look at your top 35 earning years. They adjust those numbers for inflation. They run a formula. That formula gives them a number called your PIA, your primary insurance amount. That is the engine of your monthly check. If even one of your top years is missing or wrong, or stamped with a number that is smaller than it should be, your entire check can be smaller than it should be, by hundreds, by thousands, across decades. Now stay with me, because what just happened inside that red folder in Columbus is worth every word I'm about to say. Karen took her mother's earnings statement from mysocialsecurity.gov. She sat down with a pencil. She started writing down the years, year by year, from 1974 to 2007, 33 years of work. She noticed 3 gaps. From 1989 to 1991, the numbers on Eleanor's earnings statement were tiny, way smaller than the other years, almost nothing. But Eleanor was working full-time then. She was a senior billing clerk. She was earning more than almost any other year of her career. So why did the numbers show almost nothing? Because in 1988, Eleanor got married. She changed her last name from Carter to Marsh. And for 3 years, the hospital payroll system and the Social Security system did not match up. Her wages were reported under her old name. Her Social Security number was still on record under the old name, but the records got separated in a system that married men and women in 1977, but did not retroactively match all of a woman's earnings to her new name automatically. Nobody warned her. Nobody wrote her a letter. Nobody told her to check. For 3 years, her highest earning years were sitting in a cabinet at the Social Security Administration, not credited to her record. And because those 3 years were her best, the lifetime formula that runs her monthly check was missing roughly $31,000 of lifetime earnings. Translated into a monthly check number, that is about $311 a month. $311 a month she never got, for 9 years. That is more than $33,000 of missed money, gone, silently, quietly. From a woman who paid into the system every single Tuesday and Thursday for 31 years. If this is hitting you in the gut right now, do me one favor. Hit like on this video right now. Because there are millions of Eleanor Marshes across this country, and they need to see this before another month goes by. Subscribe now if you want the truth before it shows up at your own door. And tell me your age in the comments right now. I want to know who is paying attention. Now I need to take the truth and stretch it like a rope across your screen because the lie most seniors walk around with is heavy. It is invisible, and it is wrong. The lie sounds like this. My check is what my check is. Social Security already gave me the right number. They would have called me if it was wrong. I want you to hear that in your bones. Because that sentence just cost millions of families their retirement. Let us break it down. First, the government does not automatically correct your earnings record. I want to repeat that. The Social Security Administration does not run out and find your missing earnings and mail you a recalculated check. They are not searching, they are not calling, they are not emailing. Their job, as far as the law is concerned, is to use what is posted on your record. And they are required to correct errors, and they will if you ask, but they are not required to find the errors for you. Second, the system has been quietly broken for decades. In 1970, a man named Richard Arpell sued the Social Security Administration. He argued that when the agency learned about new earnings that could increase someone's benefit, they had a duty to notify that person. He won. The case is called Arpell versus Richardson. It lives in the law books out of the Ninth Circuit. The country remembered it for about 10 minutes. The result of that ruling is what insiders sometimes call the Arpell letter. It is the letter the government is supposed to send you when they have new earnings information that could raise your check. The whole point of the letter is to tell you, hey, you might be due more money. If you want, file this form. But here is the truth most people have never heard spoken out loud. That letter is not printed and mailed automatically today the way it used to be. Budget cuts, system limitations, modernization, That is the word they use. Third, many women are completely uncovered by this. If you changed your last name in the 70s, the 80s, even the 90s, your earnings record is at risk, not because you did anything wrong. Because ancient computer systems from 1973 were built around the idea that men hold one name forever and women hold two names across their life. The system was patched in 1977 to merge women's names. But the patch did not retroactively search your payroll records. It did not call your old employers. It did not dig through the warehouse in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, where your paper file might still be sitting in a metal cabinet. And so the lie lives. My check is the right amount, said by 8 out of 10 widows in America, said to her own daughter, said by rote, said like a prayer that nobody really believes anymore. Let us go inside the machine for a minute, not with jargon, with plain language, like a flashlight in a basement. When you work in America, your employer reports your wages to the Internal Revenue Service. A portion of those wages also gets reported to the Social Security Administration. The two systems do not always match perfectly. They were not built at the same time. They were not built by the same people. They were glued together over decades like a guardrail on a country road. Every dollar reported gets credited to your Social Security record under your name and your Social Security number. Both of those keys have to be exactly right. If even one slips, your name, your number, a hyphen, a missing letter, the wages can fall into a suspense file. That is the official word, suspense file, as if your hard-earned dollars are whispering from a locked cabinet waiting for someone to set them free. Now here's what happens when you file for benefits at 62, 65, 66, 67, 70, whatever age you choose. Social Security takes your top 35 earning years. They adjust those years for inflation to make them roughly equal in today's dollars. They line them up. They drop your lowest years if you have fewer than 35. The top 35 become your AIME, average indexed monthly earnings. That AIME gets run through a formula. That formula gives your PIA, your primary insurance amount, the engine of your check. Now, if 3 of your top years are missing from the record because of a name change, your AIME collapses. It is like cutting the top off a stack of pancakes. The formula churns out a smaller number, smaller check for life. Every year after retirement, your check gets a small cost of living adjustment, the COLA, about 2% a year recently, 3% some years. But that COLA is applied to the wrong number, a wrong foundation. So the COLA grows the mistake, year after year, decade after decade. That is why Eleanor's check has not changed for 9 years. It was not that the COLA stopped, the COLA still ran, 2% here, 3% there. Picture this carefully. The wrong PIA was computed, then the COLA got applied to the wrong PIA, then the COLA got applied to the wrong COLA, compound error, quiet as a basement light, slow as a kitchen clock. Now, here's where it gets worse. The average woman in this country loses thousands of dollars over her retirement lifetime, not because of how she worked, but because of how her name was typed on a payroll system in 1979. A widow, a divorcee, anyone whose last name changed even once. I'm going to be very direct. The system was built by people who did not anticipate how many women would work outside the home across their whole adult life. And they did not retrofit it, they barely patched it, and the patches are full of holes. Let me give you live math right here. Suppose someone's true top 35 years of earnings average out to $38,000 a year adjusted. Their PIA from that comes to about $2,300 a month. That is the number that runs their actual wage base. Now suppose one of those top years is missing. Replace it with a low year, say $11,000. The new average drops, maybe to $35,000 a year adjusted. The new PIA becomes about $2,090 a month. Not a huge drop on paper. $200 less a month, maybe less. But over 20 years of retirement, with COLA on top, $200 a month becomes something like $340 a month. And $340 a month for 20 more years is $81,000 missed. $81,000 lost because one payroll record pointed to the wrong name in 1989. That is not a typo. That is what the math actually says. Now, imagine if it's 3 years missing. Imagine if it's a widow. Imagine if she is 71. Imagine if she has been quietly underpaid every month since she filed at 62. That is Eleanor. That is millions of people like her. And the form that fixes this is sitting on a government website right now. 4 pages, 2 signatures, the right delivery address. That is it. That is the entire barrier between Eleanor and over $300 a month. Between Eleanor and over $33,000 she could already have. Let us go back to that kitchen in West Price Hill. Picture Eleanor on the phone with Karen. Karen is reading from the red folder. Her voice is calm. The kind of calm a child uses when they do not want to scare their mother. Mom, I think your check has been wrong, and I think we can fix it. Eleanor is quiet for a long time. Then she says, Honey, I have called that office 4 times since 2016. Every time they say my number is correct, they say there is nothing else for me to do. Mom, did anyone ever ask about your name before 1988? No, they never asked. They had my number. They had my address. They have been sending me a check. That's right. They sent her a check. They have been mailing her a check every month for 9 years. The check was wrong. The check was polite. The check came in the same envelope every time, blue stripe down the right side. Eleanor had no idea the check was wrong, because nobody told her. Because the letter they were supposed to send her under the Arpell ruling never showed up, because her name changed in 1988, and 3 of her highest earning years were sitting in a different cabinet 3 states away. Karen pulls up the My Social Security account online. She shows Eleanor the earnings statement. There are gaps, big gaps, yellow blanks where there should be numbers. Where the numbers do appear, they are tiny. $1,100, $1,400, barely anything. Picture Eleanor's hand over her mouth. 31 years of work. 31 years of FICA deductions out of her paycheck, 31 years of a system that took her money every Tuesday and every Thursday, and the system forgot her. Now picture this every time she walked past the fridge, every time she opened a bill, every time she drove past her old hospital, every time she passed a certain hallway at church where she and Gary used to argue about the heating bill. Every February she stretched her grocery money across an extra week, all of that, because of a clerical name patch that did not catch every record. This is not a story about one woman. This is a story about how retirement math goes wrong when the data goes wrong, and data goes wrong more often than anyone wants to admit. I want you to do something for me right now. Tell me your state in the comments, not your last name, your state. Because the way this form gets processed changes depending on where you live. Some states are faster, some states are slower. Some states' Social Security field offices are so behind right now that you could file a form in January and not hear back until May. I will tell you more about that in a few minutes. Stay with me. Here's what you do, not in theory, tonight. Step 1. Pull up your My Social Security account online. If you do not have one, create one. The website is ssa.gov/myaccount. You will need a login.gov account or an id.me account. Once you are inside, you click on Your Earnings Record. You will see a year-by-year list of what the Social Security Administration thinks you earned in each year from 1951 to last year. Step 2. Compare that list to what you actually remember earning. If you have W-2s sitting in a shoebox anywhere, pull them. Pull the ones from the late 70s and the 80s especially. Pull anything from after a name change. Pull anything from years you worked at multiple jobs. Pull anything from years you worked part-time while also working a full-time job. You are looking for 2 things. Years where your earnings on the Social Security record look smaller than what you actually earned. Years where the earnings simply show 0 or a tiny number and you know you worked that year. Step 3. Pull Form SSA-44 from ssa.gov. The form is called Request to have your Social Security benefits recomputed due to non-disability earnings. It is 4 pages. You can download it. You can also call the Social Security office and ask them to mail it. Step 4. Fill it out carefully. You will need your Social Security number, your name, your date of birth, the years you believe are in question, and a short explanation of why you believe the earnings record is wrong. Be specific. Use names of employers, use dates, be concrete and clear. Step 5. Attach proof. If you have W-2s, attach them. If you have pay stubs, attach them. If your employer has payroll records from 30 years ago, ask them. The records are the proof the government needs in order to recompute. Without proof, the form alone will slow down. With proof, the timeline changes. Step 6. Deliver the form to the right place. You can mail it to the Social Security Administration office in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. There is a separate dedicated processing address for SSA-44. You can also walk it into your local Social Security office. Many local offices will let you schedule a short appointment and walk the form in. Step 7. Wait, but do not wait silently. The processing time varies. In some states, the wait is 4 to 6 weeks. In some states, especially with backlogs, the wait can run 4 to 6 months. If you have not heard back in 60 days, call your local office, ask for the operations supervisor, ask if the form has been received and logged in. Step 8. If the answer comes back no, if Social Security reviews your request and says the earnings do not change anything, do not stop there. The first SSA-44 can be reviewed internally. You can also file a different form called SSA-7008, which is a request for correction of earnings record. The legal grounds shift slightly. The agency has to consider it, but here's the truth that nobody tells you. Most of these are process fumbles, not rejections. They are slow. They are not popular. They are not funded with big agencies. But they are real, and the recompute, when it happens, can raise your check for every month going forward. And depending on the timing, it can also raise payments for some months going back. Though it is important to know, SSA does not always pay retroactively. The rules around retroactive recomputation are tight and depend on the year and the proof and the specific situation. So talk to a qualified elder law attorney if you have any doubt about what your specific case can produce. Now, one more strategy that almost no one ever mentions. Strategy 9. Ask for a representative payee review if you are helping a parent. Or better, if your parent is still capable, sit with them. Bring a yellow legal pad, bring their W-2s, bring their marriage certificate if the name changed, bring the court records if they were ever divorced, every name change ever, bring the proof, bring it all. Because the Form SSA-44 is not just a piece of paper, it is a key, and the door it opens was almost closed for good. Now let us pull this into the next 12 hours, because some of you watching are sitting on a kitchen chair right now thinking about your mother, some of you are about to call your dad, some of you are already thinking about your own check that never grows. Here is your tonight plan, step by step, not tomorrow, not Monday, by tonight. Open the My Social Security account on a laptop or a phone, look at the earnings record, screenshot the year-by-year list, save it. Email it to yourself by tonight. Look at the list. Look at the years you worked. Look at any year that shows a tiny number where you know the year was a real full working year. Highlight it, circle it, write it on the legal pad. By tonight, pull up Form SSA-44 on SSA.gov. Read it, just read it. Do not fill it out tonight if you do not have the proof in front of you. But read it, feel the shape of it, feel what it is asking. By the weekend, pull together the W-2s from any shoebox. Pull pay stubs if you have any. Pull any old tax returns from after the name change year. Pull the names of any employers from that era. If you are helping a parent and you cannot find the old W-2s, the IRS keeps tax transcripts up to 10 years back, and the Social Security Administration can sometimes pull earnings records from employers back many decades. Within 2 weeks, file the Form SSA-44, mail it to the proper processing address, or schedule a short visit to your local field office and walk it in. Bring 2 copies, keep one for yourself within 4 to 6 weeks. Call the local office, ask if the form was received, ask if it was assigned to a claims specialist, ask the name of the specialist if they will share it, write it on the legal pad with the rest, and if at any point someone tells you this does not matter, or that the form is the wrong form, or that you need to file a different form first, do not accept that. Tell them to put it in writing. Tell them to give you the specific reason. Tell them to point you to the regulation, because sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the records really do match. But more often than not, somebody just has not looked at the record carefully enough yet. This is the system. This is how it runs. Respectful, polite, often slow, and sometimes wrong by hundreds of dollars a month. Let us go back to Eleanor one more time. Karen filed the SSA-44 in February, with proof, with W-2s, with her mother's marriage certificate. She mailed it to Wilkes Barre. She made a copy for Eleanor. She pinned a copy to the refrigerator under the magnetic clip. 7 weeks later, a letter came. It was not the Arpell letter. It was something better, a notice of a new benefit calculation. The agency had done the recompute. The 3 years had been corrected. The PIA had been recalculated. Eleanor called Karen. Her voice was shaking. "Honey, the check is different this month." "How much different, Mom?" $311. Eleanor sat down at the kitchen table. She put on her reading glasses. She read the letter twice. The letter said the recomputation also made her check slightly higher going forward, and that some months of additional payment would be deposited separately as a retroactive adjustment, depending on the rules that applied to her specific case. She cried, quietly, for about 10 minutes. Then she called her sister in Loveland. Then she called her priest at St. Catherine of Siena. Then she called her oldest grandson at Ohio State and told him to never let the system decide his number without him picking up a form first. That is what one form does. That is what one night of digging does. That is what one conversation across a kitchen table does. The system is not evil. The system is not trying to take from you, but the system is quiet, it is cold, it is overburdened, and it forgets more than it remembers. Your job, your only job, is to walk up to the system and remind it who you are, with paper, with proof, with your voice, and when necessary, with an attorney sitting beside you. I want to close with something simple. There are millions of older Americans in the country right now who are getting the wrong check, not because the government is trying to cheat them, because nobody reminded the system to look again. Filing Form SSA-44 is not cheating, it is not gaming. It is the exact mechanism the government built for this situation. It is your tool. It is sitting on a website right now. It is free. It is yours. Now here's what I want you to do in the next 60 seconds. Drop your age in the comments. I want to see who is paying attention. Drop your state. Drop one word about what you remember about a name change in your family. Was it your mother? Was it your aunt? Was it you? And then send this video to one family member tonight. One, not 20. One. The one who needs to see it most. The one who raised you or who you are raising. The one who should not have to spend 9 years getting the wrong check. Subscribe if you want the truth before the paperwork shows up at your own door. Subscribe because the next video is going to walk through the next trap. The one where Social Security quietly shrinks your check a month before your 70th birthday and the form that catches it. I will tell you the full story about a man in Tucson who lost months of payments because nobody warned him about a single signature on a form he had never seen. Watch for it. It drops next.